Hi everyone, welcome to a session with Iris Reading. My name is Cynthia, an instructor with Iris Reading based out of Chicago. Happy to see you all in the audience today. Today we are talking about memory techniques. So if you're having a hard time with memory, you're having a hard time remembering some of maybe you're a student, you're trying to memorize some things for an exam, a presentation, the flashcards, maybe you don't necessarily understand how flashcards work for you or other memory techniques, and we hope today's presentation helps you out. I want to quickly share we are on social media here at Iris Reading, so if you do enjoy the content, please check us out on Instagram, TikTok, and on Facebook. We also have a book club on Facebook called Book Lovers Assemble. So you are more than welcome to join us. Again, if you enjoy the content, please don't forget to subscribe to our channel and like the video. We would really appreciate your support. On top of that, you can always check out our website, irisreading.com. Now, something nice I want to share, and I like to share about these workshops, we've actually taught them in over 100 cities around the world. And so we're very proud of that. We've worked with companies and organizations like United States Army, Google, LinkedIn, NASA, a bunch of high schools, many community colleges, and many of the Ivy Leagues as well. So it just kind of goes to show it doesn't matter how far off how long it's been since you've graduated or how long it's been since you've been in school. Reading and learning are things that we have to do. It really doesn't matter how far out we are, right? If we've been working professional for maybe 20-25 years or so, then we will probably we might have forgotten how to memorize certain things. So if you're struggling again with memory, then you are more than welcome to stick around. If you want to share where you're joining us from, you're more than welcome to leave that comment as well. I like to also share that we're actually known for our speed reading workshop. And that's actually kind of how Iris Reading was started, with that speed reading workshop. And we're really known for that as well. It is the best workshop, I must say, because it is taught by our founder and CEO, Paul Novak. My favorite, however, is the memory techniques workshop, just because it's a little more in tune with what I am a student, so I am going after a PhD in educational psychology, and how we read and learn is very important to me. So that's why that one is my favorite. But they're all wonderful presentations, wonderful workshops that I highly recommend you check out. We also offer a note-taking workshop, and this year we actually launched comprehension strategies. And so if you're having a hard time maybe understanding something, or you really don't know how to understand, then that workshop is for you. We talk about how there are 6 generic questions that you can use with really any major that can help deepen your comprehension on a specific subject. So that, again, as I mentioned, was launched in March of this year. We're still kind of like in the trial phase with that presentation. So if you want to check it out, again, you are more than welcome to stop by the channel to see when we go live with that presentation. So today we are going to try to memorize something, and we're going to see, if I asked you feel your memory works, or how do you feel your memory is, if you had to give your memory some kind of a grade, what would you give it? Some of us might say that we have great memory, right? And some of us might say that we don't have the best memory. And something interesting that we found on the subject is that while maybe people think that they have bad memory, that's usually not the case. We talk about, and we're actually going to talk about the numeric peg system today, which is a great way to memorize things in order. But your average person actually doesn't have a hard time with memory. The problem is that we are so hyper-stimulated these days with TikTok, Instagram, and just staring at the blue screen, or just the regular screen, right? TV. That can create sort of like an environment in your brain where it thinks it's paying attention, but it's actually not. And so when it's time to maybe pull some of this information from our memory that we thought we had committed to memory well, turns out right? In the moment, we're like, I can't remember. It must mean that I have bad memory. And that's not necessarily the case, right? It's just sometimes we're not aware that we are not really giving it the attention it deserves. And so, of course, unless you are suffering from a disorder that impairs your memory, chances are you don't necessarily have bad memory. It's just a matter of better understanding how your memory works, right, and how to cater to it so that you can remember for longer, right? We all think differently. That's also something we like to emphasize in our workshops. We think differently, we reason differently, which means that the manner in which we try to memorize things should be different as well. We all can't use the same method. We all cannot wear a size 7 sneaker, right? That doesn't fit everybody. Same way with how we think. We all don't think in the same way. Some of us get to a point faster. Some of us take longer. Some of us go the long way around, right? Some of us are able to shortcut our way to understand better. So with these memory techniques, it's important not for one to understand how you learn best, which is something that we're looking to launch this year as well, but also what the best memory technique is for you. And we're actually going to take something that is fairly generic. Most of us will probably at one time have to memorize something in a specific order. And so that's why we're going to showcase numeric peg today. All right. Now, the nice thing about numeric peg is that you can recycle what we call the pegs, so the numbers, and I'll explain what that means a little later. So first thing we need to do with numeric peg system is to assign an object to the number it will now represent. Okay, so number one, we are going to assign the object of a pencil. If you were to close your eyes, can you see a pencil? Right, you can see a pencil if you close your eyes, right? Or maybe a mechanical pencil, maybe a number 2 pencil, maybe that Ticonderoga pencil. I think it's a green one, right? The point is, we're looking at it. We see a pencil, right? When you close your eyes, I hope everyone is closing them and you're actually visualizing a pencil. That pencil will now represent the number 1. Okay, so we are going to assign visuals for each of the numbers we have to use in this numeric peg system. Number 2 is the swan. Okay, so if you have to close your eyes again and you need to visualize the swan, and maybe your swan is a standard black and white, or maybe you're pulling a swan from like your imagination and it's a pink swan or a blue swan. Doesn't matter. Make the swan look the way you want it to look, as long as it has this curve in the neck right here, because again, it matches up with the curve in the neck of the 2. Okay, so the swan is number 2. Number 3, we are going to say is the McDonald's sign. Most of us have a McDonald's in our town or in our city, I would imagine, right? Now it's weird to see that the McDonald's sign here is kind of, it's tipped over, but if you take a step back, you can see a number 3 on there, right? If you kind of just pull your head back a little bit, you see it's a funny looking 3, right? So this number 3 and this number 3, they line up. Okay, so number 3 is the McDonald's sign. Number 4 is the upside down chair. Okay, so probably most of us write our 4s like this anyway, maybe like this, but more so like this. Okay, so number 4 is the upside down chair. So visualize that in your brain, please. Thank you. And number 5 is the pirate's hook. All right, so we've got the curve in the hook and the curve in the belly of the 5, so they line up. That is the number 5. All right, so now a pop quiz. If you would like to participate, you can drop your answers in the chat. I'm going to ask you, and by the way, this is live, so today is June 14th for me as well, just so everyone is aware this isn't recorded. This is live. We are actually seeing your comments in real time. If you want to give me the object for number 1 at this time, you may drop that in the chat. Okay, so that number 1 is the pencil, right? So if you had to close your eyes to visualize it, number 1 is the pencil. Okay. Number 2 is the swan. All right, so we close our eyes and we visualize. Oh, hello, Baba H. Pakarel, you're joining us from Nepal. Thank you so much. Nice to. You ever heard of iris reading in the past, Baba? I'm curious to hear if we have made it all the way to Nepal. I don't think so, but maybe you've seen a video of ours in the past. So feel free to let us know. I am curious. We said number 2 was the swan, right? Who can give me the object for number 3? So if you have to close your eyes, that is okay. But the object for number 3 was the sideways McDonald's sign, right? Very good. Object for number 4. Object for number 4, we had said, close your eyes if you have to, is the upside down chair, right? It was the upside down chair. And number 5, we had said, was the pirate's hook. Okay, that was the pirate's hook. So very good job if you were able to remember all of these. If you were not, that is okay. It just means you have to take a longer memory workshop, which we do offer on our website. Now we have, I forgot to mention this earlier. We have a list of things that we will try to memorize today, and it is the 12 chapter titles to this really, really remarkable, fantastic, tremendous. I mean, I cannot say enough good things about this book. It's a great book. Brain Rules by John Medina. 12 Principles for Surviving and Thriving at Work, Home, and School. So we've used this book for a long time with these numeric peg exercises. What we do is we will say that you will have this 12 chapter title list memorized by the end of this exercise. All right, and the first part to get there is to first understand the numeric peg system. Okay, so I might have skipped my intro. I actually did. My coffee hasn't kicked in this morning. I think I ordered a rather light latte, but we'll continue. So we did the first 5 pegs. We have the first 5 down. Now we're going to continue with the next 5. Okay, so moving on to number 6. Number 6, we're going to say looks like a cherry. Okay, so if you notice right here, the 6 is kind of like in the shape of a 6. So if you were writing a 6 out like that, then you can see a 6, right? So that is the number 6. Number 7, we're going to say is a lightning bolt. Okay, and we can actually see a few 7s in this lightning bolt. So we have 1, let's see if I can get my pointer right on. 1 here, 1 here, we've got 1 here, and 1 here. Okay, so there are 4 7s, give or take, in this lightning bolt. Number 8, we're going to say is a very scary racetrack. Okay, so we say it's scary because of this intersection right here in the middle. I don't think I would ever drive on that racetrack, ever, 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 ever. Right, but it is in a perfect shape of an 8 or the number 8, so we thought we would use this racetrack. Fits perfectly with our number 8. Okay, number 9 is the balloon. Okay, number 9 is the balloon. And so we see the rounded part of the balloon right here is like the rounded part of the 9, and the string coming under the balloon is like the hook coming under the 9 right here. Okay, so number 9 is the balloon, and 10 is the spoon and plate. Okay, so we have the spoon as our number 1 here and the plate as our 0. So those are 6 through 10. We'll do a pop quiz now just to see if they stuck in your memory. All right, so number 6, we're going to say, if you can remember what the number 6 is, and usually what I do with these presentations is I'll just write a 6 on here. Sometimes just writing the 6 will help with your memory. You can maybe see the object we were trying to memorize. Okay, so 6 was the cherry. Okay, let's move on to number 7. If you can tell me what the object is for number 7, feel free to guess. 7 we had said was the lightning bolt, right? Very good. Number 8, we're moving on to our number 8 here. So number 8, we see the intersection there and we think about the very scary racetrack, right? Let's move on to number 9. Number 9 was our, let's see, it kind of looks like a deflated balloon on my end. This number 9 I just wrote on the screen here. A very sad balloon, but it's supposed to look like a number 9, and obviously a balloon with a string on it. Okay, so that is 9, and then I'll squeeze in right here 10. So we've got 10, and we're thinking of a plate setting, right? We've got our spoon and our plate. So those are 6 through 10. You get the success, baby, if you were able to memorize everything correctly. If not, that is okay. Don't forget that this video is available for you to view again. We can also send you the slides if you'd like them, and I'll share my email at the end of the presentation along with a discount code that the founder has provided us with. So if you'd like to take any of the advanced courses, you are more than welcome to use that code and hopefully get a deeper understanding as to how your memory actually works. Now, we have memorized the pegs, but we have to now tie in the topic. What is the topic? Remember, we had stated it would be the list of chapter titles from Brain Rules. Okay, so now how do we do this? Well, we're going to tie in, we're going to associate the peg with the topic. So let's start out with number 1. Number 1 we had said was a pencil. Okay, number 1 was a pencil. And let's see. Our topic is exercise. So let's think about this for a second. If let's say you all decide to visit our office here in Chicago, the Iris Reading headquarters, we should probably have a giant book on the building or something to identify, or a giant eyeball like the one at the bottom of my screen right here, something that is like really, really out there. And so you know that is the Iris Reading building. But anyway, let's say that building exists already and you all come to visit us and you have a great time obviously learning more about Iris Reading. You have a great time learning about some of the new courses that we're offering, right? And then you're like, okay, well, I have a routine and every night I will usually work out before going to bed. So is there a gym anywhere by the office, since you are hypothetically in Chicago right now with us visiting, right? And so we recommend a gym that's actually down the street from where our office is. And we say, go down there, here's a pass, you don't even have to pay, it's a nice clean gym, you're going to enjoy your workout. And so you work down there, you walk your way down there, and you notice that while yes, it is a gym, everybody in the gym is working out with giant pencils. And you're like, what is this? This is some weird stuff. I don't understand this at all. You might even wonder, is this like a Chicago thing? I don't know what this is about, right? So that is number 1, exercise, all right? So imagine people working out with giant pencils. And now that I'm looking at this, we did have an illustrator work with us. I don't know why he made this guy's foot. It looks like he's stepping. I don't think that's a very good position to be lifting anything. That's a great way to snap your knee. So we're going to have to make an edit on this image. Number 2, let's just move on to number 2, right? He's not being safe lifting that Olympic-sized bar in the shape of a giant pencil. Number 2 is the swan, okay? And number 2 in Brain Rules is survival. So we then, let's see, you guys decide to work, like we're just pretending here. You decide to walk to Lake Michigan. And when you get to Lake Michigan here in Chicago, it's our lake. We're very thankful that we have a lake, but unfortunately, a lot of people don't take care of the lake. And so over the years, people have resorted to throwing garbage into the lake, and it's actually pretty sad that it has ruined many homes for maybe birds and fish, right? And so this son actually walks up to you as a visitor, as a tourist, and he's like, where are you from? I'm looking to move because, as you can see, my home is full of garbage. Look at all the garbage that these people have dropped into my house. And you're like, well, this is sad and all. I don't understand why a swan is talking to me. Like, I didn't know that those even existed. I've never seen that before. Moving on to number three. Number three is the sideways McDonald's sign, and it is wiring in brain rules. Okay, so let's think about this. Now, there was an article I found recently, actually not recently, it was a couple years ago, and it stated that if you've ever gone to McDonald's and tried to get a McFlurry, and the machine doesn't work, it's actually because the cleaning function in those machines is very faulty, and so it breaks down constantly. It's a struggle that McDonald's has with those machines, and so it's always frustrating for me because right when I want a McFlurry is when the machine never works. But anyway, maybe let's just say hypothetically one day you walk into McDonald's and you want to order, but everything is off, all the lights are off, and there's staff in the restaurant, but nothing is happening. Nobody's really moving. And so you walk up to the counter and you're like, hey, can I order? What's happening? What's going on? And they say, actually, the restaurant is closed. You see, we just discovered that there were rats that were living in the walls, and so they have chewed through all of the wiring in our restaurants, and so none of the machines work. And you're like, what are you talking about? I eat here all the time. What do you mean there's rats in the walls? What? And so you obviously run out of the restaurant, but now you know that the machines are not working at this particular McDonald's because, again, the rats have chewed through the wiring. Number four is attention, and number four in brain rules is, number four in brain rules is attention, and number four in numeric peg is the upside down chair. So maybe you had a teacher once upon a time and he wasn't very exciting, or she wasn't very exciting, and so you knew every time you would go to class, you would have just a great nap. You knew that the best nap of the day was coming in that classroom, and actually your teacher caught on to you, and so they were like, hey, you wanna take a nap? Okay, we're gonna have some new chairs installed, and they are going to, instead of allowing you to fall asleep every time you stop paying attention, they are going to come alive and poke you so that you do pay attention. And you think to yourself, what in the world, what kind of a demented chair? I'm not sitting in that. Right. Imagine finding that out only when you stop paying attention. That'd be a pretty terrible way to wake up from a nap. I don't think I would ever go to that class again, right? Moving on to number five. So number five is the pirate hook. And number five in brain rules is short-term memory. Okay, so maybe we can visualize some short baby pirates that are also suffering from short-term memory loss. So they look like this. Okay, short-term memory loss. And the poor things, they don't even know that they're literally on top of the treasure, but they can't see it. So yeah, they forgot. All right, let's see if we can remember numbers 1 through 5. Okay, so number 1, I will give you the peg and you will give me the brain roll if you'd like. No pressure. Okay, so again, number 1, we're closing our eyes, we're visualizing what was a pencil, and then we're thinking, what were we doing with the pencils? Oh, we were working out. It was exercise. So number 1 was exercise. Okay, number two was the swan, and what was happening with the swan? The swan was struggling to survive. Yeah, they showed us a picture of their home, and they were struggling to survive. So that was number 2. Number 3 was the sideways McDonald's sign, and so it was what was happening with the McDonald's. We were thinking about the rats that were chewing through the wiring, right? So that was number 3, wiring. Number 4 was we're visualizing an upside down chair, right? And what was happening with this chair? Somebody fell asleep in the chair, and then the arms came alive to poke you because you stopped paying attention, right? So that was number 4. And number 5 was the pirate's hook, right? And what was happening with the pirate's hook? What was happening? We had pirate's hook, so we're thinking about baby pirates, right? And these baby pirates, they didn't know they were on the treasure, so they were suffering from short-term memory loss. Okay, so they were short baby pirates that were suffering from short-term memory loss. All right, that is numbers 1 through 5, but we have 12 brain rules, so we got to keep going, okay? Number 6 is the cherry. All right, number 6 is the cherry, and number 6 in brain rules is long-term memory. So maybe we can visualize, let's see, maybe we can visualize going to the grocery store. And when we get to the grocery store, we see that the cherries are at a good price. So we decide to pick them up. But when we pick one of them up, we notice that they have some really long stems. And you're like, what kind of hormones or fertilizer, whatever, are they using at the cherry farm and making these cherries have such really long stems? It's kind of weird. All right, so that's 6, long-term memory. 7 is sleep. And so maybe you're not a morning person, and don't worry if you're not, because neither am I. And so number 7, let's say maybe people know you as being the person that is always late, right? You're always late. And so somebody decides to buy you an alarm clock that instead of allowing you to snooze, it will electrocute you when you hit the snooze button. And so that way they think you'll never be late. You'll never miss your alarm clock again. And that is a pretty atrocious way to wake up in the morning, right? To be electrocuted. I was electrocuted once accidentally by trying to plug in an AC, and that still gives me like goosebumps when I think about it. It was terrible. All right, number 8. Number 8 was a very scary racetrack because of that intersection in the middle. So maybe we can visualize some NASCAR drivers that are also suffering from the fear of this what do we call it, this racetrack. And so they're all freaking out because again, it looks like they have a million laps to go and they don't want to die, but looks like they might because of this intersection here in the middle. So they're stressed out about having to drive on this racetrack. Okay, number 9 is sensory integration. And so we're talking about all the senses, and let's say we visualize each of the senses represented with a balloon. So we have a balloon that is in the shape of a lips and tongue for taste, an ear for hearing, an eye for seeing, a nose for smelling, and a hand for touching. I don't think I would buy these balloons though, because they look a little weird, and that might scare somebody. It scares me. I don't think I want to see those in real life either. Okay, 10. Uh-oh, let me go back. We're going back to number 10. So 10 is vision. And has this ever happened to you where you're so hungry and you're literally starving, and you go to the restaurant and you don't even care what they bring you? You're just like, let me eat the bread basket. I will eat the bread basket. Just bring me something. And so they decide to bring you a beautiful assortment of eyeballs. And they're like, well, you said anything, right? And you see them, and they're moving, and they're all the different colors, right, that exist with eyeballs. And you're like, this is not what I meant. But again, these eyeballs are representing vision, which is our final brain rule. All right, let's see if we can remember 6 through 10. Okay, 6 through 10. Here we go. So 6 was the cherry. What was happening with the cherry? It was a cherry with a really long stem, right? Very good. 7 was the lightning bolt. And what was happening with the lightning bolt? Oh, it was someone touching the snooze button on the alarm clock because they sleep too much, or maybe they just like to sleep. So that was sleep, 7. 8 was the very scary racetrack. So we're talking about stress because we know the NASCAR drivers were very stressed out. Let's do number 9. Number 9 was the balloon. And with the balloon, we had balloons in the shapes of the senses. So that was sensory integration. And 10 was the spoon and the plate. And we were thinking about eating at a restaurant because we were really, really hungry. And it was a plate full of eyeballs. And that's weird and gross. So that was 10. Okay, very good. So that is essentially how the numeric peg system actually works. But we still have 2 more rules that we have to get through, because there are 12 rules and we've only done 10. Now, something to keep in mind in the future is that in order for you to use more or memorize more things over 10, you have to create what is called a visual rule or a theme. Okay, so it's always snowing here in Chicago. It feels like it is. I mean, it was beautiful and then it dropped to 60 degrees, so we're all frozen again. So we're gonna use the theme of snow. Okay, so 89, I'm sorry, this is slide number 89 on my deck here. So 11, we have our pencil. We have to tie in the topic of snow and our actual topic. So the theme of snow on our topic. 12, we have to tie in snow and again our actual topic. Now our last 2 subjects are music and exploration. So we're going to tie in 11, the pencil, snow, and music. When I think of music, I think of Wolfgang Amadeus, and as we know, he was very creative. And I think of him trying to listen to something he has recently composed. Instead of using a baton that most conductors would use, he's using a giant pencil, and he is outside in the snow. So he is looking something like this. Okay, so obviously we know this doesn't make sense because there were no Walkmans in his time, right? I don't even think number 2 pencils existed in that time, but he is out in the snow, right? So that one does make sense. But here is how I tie in music again, and then we have 12. We have our swan, snow, and our topic, which is exploration. When I think exploration, I think of Christopher Columbus, right? And he is maybe in a giant swan-shaped ship. So that's a bit of a tongue twister, but he's in a giant swan-shaped ship, and he's exploring what he thinks would have been the Americas, but it turns out they're not. He's ended up in Antarctica, and so it is snowing, and he's like, I don't think this is how the story was supposed to go. Okay, so that is 12. So we've got, again, him on a giant swan-shaped ship. It's snowing, and he's exploring. He's an explorer, okay? All right, so let's wrap it up. We'll do a quick pop quiz. So if you can tell me what the brain rule is for chapter number 4, go ahead and drop that in the chat and I'll walk you through it. So 4 we had said was the upside down chair. What was happening with this upside down chair? We were in class and the teacher was really boring, and so we just were like not feeling it, and so we stopped paying attention. All right, so that was number 4. Let's try this one more time with number 8. So number 8 was in the shape of a racetrack, and when we're thinking about the racetrack, we're thinking about these NASCAR drivers, right, that are freaked out about having to drive on this racetrack because of the intersection. They're actually stressed out. So that is number 8. All right, everyone. So very good job. That was the numeric peg system. Okay. Please don't forget, if you have any questions, please drop them in the chat box. This is our social media once again, so please, please, please check us out: Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and also on this YouTube channel. And I did mention sharing with you all my email. So my email is cynthia@irisreading.com. If you would like a copy of the slides, please feel free to reach out and I can send that to you. That discount code we had mentioned. So if you'd like to take an advanced version of today's class, you can use the code BOOKLOVERS for 30% off any of the courses on our website. And again, you can find those at irisreading.com. Thank you all so much for coming. I hope to see you in a future session. I hope you all check out our website, and we will talk soon. Thanks, everyone. Bye.